Hey guys, Doug here. As you can see by my little buddy, the snow has come and it's probably going to stick around now. So it's time to start thinking about the birds. Last year, oh maybe even 2 years ago, I made the big honkin' bird feeder, and from that I made like the bird feeder TV video, and I will be making another one this year, like it or not. But a lot of people wanted to see how I made that bird feeder, and recently my dad asked me if I would make him one, so I thought this is a perfect chance to just go ahead and make one and film how I put that bird feeder together. So that's what we're going to do today. Earlier today I went to the lumber store and I picked up some 1x12 barn board pine, and that's what we're going to make it out of. Here's the old bird feeder, which I'm going to use again this year. When I made this bird feeder, I was just winging it. I didn't even know what it was going to end up like. I just started piecing it together. So I'm not going to actually copy this one exactly, but it's going to be very similar. Some features that I really liked about this was this pass-through window, where the birds were they hopped right through every section of the bird feeder. That was really cool. I noticed that these side ones, the doves really liked. And yeah, so I'm going to make the sections more for the bird. So the smaller birds like the top area, so I would put the finer bird seed. Blue jays would come in here and in here, so you put the peanuts and whatnot. But it's kind of nice to give a little safe spot for the smaller birds as well, although they were in all of them too. But the blue jays are bullies and they kick everybody out all the time. So we're going to do the same concept, and I may do something different with these side roofs, but again, I'm just going to wing the next one too, just to give you the idea. The point of this video is not for you to make this exact one anyway. It's just if you want to make one, you know, just this big, you make one just that big. I'll show you how I put the screening. I just have some hardware store screen, like a screen door screen, in the bottom with wood. These have a center trough with no wood below, and these are just 1-inch holes drilled through the wood, and it's worked out great. No rot or anything, the water does not lay, and the bird seed gets to dry. So I'm just going to start cutting some wood, and we'll get going. The total height on this one here is 33 inches, and the width is another 32, so almost square this way. Full barn board width, which is really only 11 and a quarter, roughly, and I put the faces on here, so it's an extra 3/4 on each side. All right, so let's just start cutting some wood, and we'll wing together another one, and then you can go from there to make whatever size or shape or whatnot that you want, and yeah, have some fun with it. Take care of your birdies. I must be getting old, because this is one of my, I actually look forward to the bird feeder. I could sit and watch it for hours. I really had to rifle through the wood at the lumber store, and even still there's no perfect wood, but just make sure, like, I'm all about the rustic. I don't mind dings and dents and holes, but save some good sections of wood that don't have any cracks or holes or whatever for the roof, so that it sheds the water as best as it can. But otherwise, keep it rustic. It's as you can see, the color difference. I mean, after the first year, look at the colors. The grays to the nice fresh white. And I don't treat it with anything because I kind of like the weathered look. So everything here that I'm going to cut, so I'm going to start with cutting these two center sections here. These tops are going to be 45 degrees. So from there, you know that everything's 45 degrees. This is 45, the roof is 45. So I'm going to start cutting these insides at 45, and these outsides are going to be at 22.5. That's the angle here. and here. So I'm going to cut the outside boards 22.5 degree to come in like that, and these center boards are 45. So that way it keeps everything real simple, easy to keep track of. 22 and 45 gives you 90 degrees and 45. So simple, simple. So 25 and 18. Okay, so I've cut the boards for the center and the outsides. Now I like to keep the rough sides out as the finished edge. So all that means is I'm going to cut a 22.5 degree angle on this board, and that means the short side of the angle is always going to be on the rough side. Okay? Same as up here. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to cut this center part here. So this is a 45 degree angle on this point, and it'll all make sense in a minute. But I'm going to cut this 45 degree piece, leaving a good 1.5 inches on the bottom so that I can notch it into the side piece. You'll see. So we've got our sides all cut here with the angles on the top, but before we start banging them together, we want to put in these windows on the sides, on all 4 of these pieces, and a little one on the little gable header. Okay, so I'm just going to find center and draw some windows in. I'll put a screw in it, and I'll cut 2 pieces at a time together so that they're exactly the same. Just drill the hole so that I can get the jigsaw blade in and cut them. This step is not necessary. You can take a little file and just take the edges off. I'm going to take my, I got a round over bit in the router, and I'm just going to go zip around both ways, not at the top but the sides. And just take that edge off. So all I'm going to do is put that on there, match the angle, and then just draw the line and do the same thing on all 4 corners. You know what I mean? So there's my line there, and that's going to go there like that. So I'm going to notch this in. I'm going to notch this in 3/4 of an inch, or honestly just the width if it varies a little bit. I'm just going to cut that notch. Cut that notch out of there to accept the peak. So we just notched our side pieces here to accept the little gable here. So now we're going to mark the height of these shelves. And these shelves all have a reveal of about 3/4 of an inch to keep the seed in. But we're just worried about the flats right now. So we're going to go about 6 and 16. And we're going to cut these center pieces. And I don't know if I can show you. But you can see how there's a trough in the middle here. So we're only going to do half on each side and leave about 1.5 to 2 inch trough down the center. So we're just going to cut a piece of wood and split it accordingly. Here's our gable. I cut it at 16, okay? So that's 16. So to make it real simple, take 2 thicknesses. This is what I always do, put on 16. And like it shows me that I've got 14 1/4. So these center shelves are going to be 14 1/4 width. And they'll match up with this notched into the wood. So now I'm just going to put the shelves on with the space in the middle. And then cap it off with the gable. On this one here I'm going to put the smooth side up. Our center unit here, but especially if you glued it, what you should do, there's nothing holding this square. There's a shake in it. So what I was saying was there's nothing holding it square. There's no support either way. That's all going to come with the trimming of it after. So get a square on there, just like if you're building a house. Stick something on there, and then just when you've got a square, pop a bracket in there. That's going to come off, but the glue will dry straight at least now anyway if it's being left for any amount of time. Alright, next all we have is the put the sides on here. This is only going to be about a 6-inch shelf on the bottom here. So I'm just going to cut that at about 6 inches, drill 2 holes in it for the water, and then I'll show you, we'll do the screening after we got the sides on and the tops of these are supported across. Before I nail in the bottom shelf here, I'm going to rip a whole bunch of 2-inch strips just so that I can nail it and fasten it where it goes, and that keeps everything square. Dealing with this screen here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the bottoms and I'm going to staple it into the sides. Now remember, that's going to have that the trim piece across here. So I'm going to cut the screen to fit. I'll make it sloppy, I can cut off here after. But I just want that screen to be tight, and I want it to wrap around, and I'm going to staple it on all these edges here. And it'll be a nice clean cut against these walls. Lucky for me, these boards are the same boards, so if I just put that over about run that over an inch or so, then I can just easily cut that, and that's the width with a little ½ inch of staple room. So just going to cut it to length, and we're golden. Hang it over a little bit. To the side. Teetering on that brace on the other side. Anything here. Going to have a trim piece across and nails through, so it's really not going to go anywhere. I think I can probably pull that brace off of there now. Pull the nails. Just going to pull that screen down, start in the center, staple, just like that. See here? It's nice and bird seed is just going to lay on top of that, and they're going to peck, and then the water can drain through. So I'll just finish up these other ones and get on to the trimming. Looking at this old feeder here, these 2-inch strips that I have, they go, I only gave a small reveal on the bottom side so that I have the depth on top to keep the feed in, okay? So I have to put this strip on here and mark it so I can put these legs up first, so I can put this one on top and get the perfect arch. Alright? So I'm just going to take this 2-inch board here, and I'm going to give a little reveal on the bottom side of this top shelf, making sure that's all still square. But if I have that reveal there, that way I can mark these here. See how wiggly that is? So you gotta make sure that you keep it all square. Still sloppy. Okay. Now I can mark that. So all these legs will be the same size, and then this will rest on top of them, and then I can mark my arch. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut the legs, nail them on, then put that on to mark the arch. Alright. So there's we got our arch in place, right where we want it. So now all I'm going to do is just piece in all this in between, and I don't think you need to watch me do that, but I'm just going to do the same thing, keeping the reveal to the bottom, keeping the height on the top. You know what I mean? And I'll get back with you as soon as I got these pieces filled in. Alright? We've got all the faces put on here. So I'm just going to, before we put the roof on, I'm going to take the router, which again not necessary, but I'm going to take the router inside all these and round off all the edges. Okay, one side done. I'm going to, oh, one edge, I missed an edge. Anyway, I'll do that edge, and I'm going to trim off the other side exactly the way I did this one, and then we'll bang the roof on. So I got both sides trimmed up the same. So all I got to do now is put the roof lines on. So this one here, I'm going to overhang it extra overhang, and this one's going to be narrower. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to cut this on a 22.5 degree angle on the table saw. Two angles, one to fit the wall and one to stand flush here. Okay. So I'm going to cut this one an inch overhang each way. So I'm going to cut it at 15 inches, and then about 9 inches this way. So it's going to cut down the table saw, and then we got to notch our little reveal out of the trim here. Just like that. So what I'm going to do is, you see the little reveal here? I'm just going to trim that with a knife. I think that'll be the easiest way. Make that fit in there nice and flush. For this roof up here, I'm just going to butt the tops and hang it down equal to whatever comes out here, okay? So this one is an inch bigger than this one, so this kind of steps it out. So I'm just going to bang these on square, and then there's going to be a little filler piece on both that I'll have to piece in. All done. That's pretty close. There you go. Hope this gave you some ideas, if nothing else. Like I said, you don't have to do it this big. You just do a little piece. You can just do a little tiny A-frame. But hopefully it gave you some ideas. You can get carried away. Like I said, I like it rough carpentry. This is not making a piece of furniture. It's going to get outside and get weathered and get beat on and beat up. So I didn't spend a lot of time on it, and it's a fun little project, and the birds will just love you to pieces. You happy? You love it?
Oh, I get it. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
All right, guys. See you on the next one.